Before we do the closing, I did want to take this time to recognize a very much loved and very much missed previous member of the RTOC, Region 10. He served for many, many years, Lance Whitwell. And in 2019, Lance was the recipient of our Environmental Excellence Award. And it was such a beautiful moment to be able to recognize such a quiet, gentle soul. He never really wanted the spotlight, but I think that he really appreciated this moment where he was said he was very humbled to have been nominated by his tribe, Venatai, and I think it was a very special moment for him, but we miss him very much. And in the name of Lance, this year we will recognize another very, very deserving person. We do have them on with us. Can we show the pic? Can we show Dean and?
Dean's here. Gillian is here.
All right,
and
Gillian.
There he is.
Yay. Hi, welcome. Gillian, I would like you to start, please. And since you nominated Dean, tell us a little bit about him, and then we'll do the presentation of the award for him.
Oh boy, I didn't reread my nomination, but when I wrote that, it all just flowed within, 3 or 4 minutes. It just came forward without having to think about it. I will say that I have worked with Dean I've worked with TELS for almost 30 years. I've worked with Dean for maybe 15, 18 of those, and he has never stopped addressing one of the most quiet but important issues that affects tribal health, which is the condition of the housing, and in particular, damp environments and mold and asthma. And he does it with his actions. He does it with his relationships. He speaks out as an advocate, but he follows through with the work that he does in the community, with the assessments in the field. He goes into the schools and into the tribal offices at Tulalip, does the assessment, drives around in his truck with his camera, checking out what's going on with water table issues and water in the foundation. So I don't know that when someone's actions always speak so much so visually, I don't know how you wouldn't nominate them for an award like this, right? So that's what I would say about Dean. And he's, enjoyable to work with. So that helps too. He's a good colleague.
That's great. And I do have the description if you would like me to read it.
Go right ahead.
Okay, great. First of all, I would like to say Dean's full name. Dean Henry, welcome and congratulations on being the recipient of this year's Tribal Environmental Excellence Award. So this was the nomination. To whom it may concern, I am honored to nominate Dean Henry, a tribal leader, tribal spiritual leader, and a man dedicated to helping tribal children and families breathe easier. I've worked on indoor air quality and asthma issues with Dean since 2004 at the Tulalip tribes. Though he leads the occupational health and safety program for Tulalip, Dean also spends time every week in the field, investigating complaints from people who are chronically ill in their home and who suspect it is related to mold or other indoor airborne contaminants. Dean goes into Tulalip homes, schools, and offices to assess the indoor air concerns, which are often mold, then gets in his truck and usually goes right to staff offices to talk about safe and effective remediation. He's often seen heading to the tribal boardroom as well to talk with elected Tulalip leaders about addressing substandard housing issues. As a child, Dean grew up in a home with mold, and his lungs were permanently damaged. His mission, as he describes it, is to make it possible for the next generation to not live on pills and sprays, as he does. For Dean, asthma and lung disease are linked to environmental exposures, but are also about tribal history and justice. He remembers the stories of his family, one aunt in particular who contracted tuberculosis at the Tulalip boarding school and was sent to the basement with other TB positive children to be apart from the others. While his aunt survived, many did not. And while TB was an infectious disease, Dean sees that it that insufficient HUD funding and inadequate tribal housing has spawned new generations of chronic lung disease, and he wants to make things right. As a longtime Tulalip employee and later contractor, I observed Dean's work firsthand. It was not lost on me that Dean's effectiveness in the Tulalip community is rooted in being connected with the community. Observing the impact that Dean has at Tulalip, I recruited him to be a spokesperson and indoor air quality advocate for the Tribal Healthy Homes Network, an organization that I established in 2008 to serve tribes in EPA Region 10. I have highlighted Dean's work and Dean share his his expertise with other Region 10 tribes through the Tribal Healthy Homes Network's webinars, conference trainings, and other circuit rider trainings. I also asked Dean to share his knowledge with tribal partners and tribal indoor air advocates, as his work is a story of quiet persistence. This persistence has been necessary as indoor air quality is still, to this day, a less visible issue within the environmental field, despite the many significant and potential harms to tribal families. To keep indoor air quality on the forefront, Dean takes it upon himself to educate new board members and new tribal staff and to continuously foster these relationships. And we would like to play a short video that was supplied by the nominee, if we're ready.
The EPA is working to make a visible difference in tribal communities by forming the Northwest Tribal Asthma Team. Even though anyone can get asthma, we know that rates are higher than average in tribal communities. The science on asthma is very clear. People with asthma have more asthma attacks and feel sicker when they're exposed to things like wood smoke, mold and moisture issues, or don't have ventilation in their homes. One approach that we know is effective is to create a community support network of health clinic staff, environmental professionals, and housing specialists. Emma Medicine White Crow is a really strong partner of ours on asthma work in the Northwest. She's a local leader who really works hard to help tribes and communities in general address hard public health issues, including asthma.
I've had asthma for 20 years. My 5-year-old has asthma, my son Lucan. Lucan's like a typical 5-year-old. He wants to run, he wants to jump, he wants to play, he wants to be outside, but that means he has to take his inhaler.
Environmental staff from tribal communities can help families figure out ways to make changes in their homes that can help to improve their health.
How do you feel when you get asthma? Do you cough a lot?
Yeah.
Yes? It's not fun, is it?
No.
Do you like missing school?
No.
The other thing I've seen, unfortunately, are some homes that are impacted by mold.
There are a lot of issues in relation to the mold issue in our developments on the reservation.
People that live in these homes, they start from the little ones on up, from the babies on up to the elders. They have some kind of asthma.
Dean Henry works with the Tulalip tribes in the health and safety program, faces asthma in his own life.
This is huge. We have over 3,500 members, what I understand, that have some kind of COPD or some type of asthma in these homes. And they've been breathing this stuff for years.
You know, once we became aware of the mold issues in our homes, whether it be inside the home or underneath the home, the wood rot, all the telltale signs that you have a mold issue, it became a task that was not just one department, but a number of our people coming together.
A really unique role that EPA has is to be able to convene partners around environmental health issues. We can work directly with tribes on a government-to-government basis to help them address some of the really hard issues that they're facing.
We're being proactive. I've seen a lot of creative efforts, and more importantly, I've seen Indian country willing to work with potential partners. I really hope that we can highlight the collaboration and we can highlight the opportunity, because we have to find our solutions. This is why I do what I do, because this is our future, and this is the future of Indian country.
Because of the health conditions of our people, we need the funding. If it was possible today to find any monies are available for this issue, I'm sure we're not the only tribe. If we lose one of those children because they couldn't breathe right, then where do we sit as a tribal leader? We need to put that up on the top.
when we want to protect our young, our kids, and our elders, the most vulnerable population, it asks us, no, it demands that we go into immediate action, work with EPA, work with HUD, work with all entities as well to resolve this so that we can safeguard the health of our people.
I hate to have any kid suffer like I suffer. I mean, I live on sprays, I live on pills.
Tribes and other partners are working together to help create, fund, and sustain these community networks to address asthma in tribal communities now and for future generations.
Dean, would you like to say a few words?
Thank you. That was very touching. First of all, I'd like to thank Healthy Homes, Gillian and their staff. Gillian and I, we worked long hours sometimes to, get this mold under control. But still, we have, like one board director said, it's going to take a lot of years for our community to come underwater. We're underwater right now. 80% of our reservation is clay. And when it rains, these houses are built on wet areas. So when it rains, the water table comes up in these homes, and it's like they've been like this for years. I know I used to be a logger. We logged some of these areas out, and it was a bad area. And they built holes on top of these wet areas. But there was no drainage systems at the time when they built these homes. They built homes in slabs. They built homes, and just over the years, the mold just developed. And now, over these years now, it's affecting our kids. Not affecting our kids, but our elders. So, these homes were built back in the 1970s, and now it's 2022. So it's been generations now that our families and our relatives and our elders have lived this way. And so, in fact, yesterday, Eileen and I went to a home yesterday, and at the Y site, and this poor young lady, her house is in a wet area, and I felt for her. My heart really went out to her because her house was mold, up and down the floors, the walls, the ceilings, every room was mold. And this has been going on for years. This is one home, and there's many more homes like this. And so Monday morning, I'm going to have to get hold of the chairwoman and get her out of this home. She needs to get out of this home and we need to find a house for her and her family, because this is going on too long. And so this is my main objective Monday is to get moving on this. And I know Gillian and I and Eileen, and we kind of, it's kind of slowed down a little bit, but now it's picking it back up again. So we have to get back into our canoe and start paddling again. And this is something that we won't stop to do. This mold issue is going to go on for a long time, and we need money. And so that's another goal of mine, is to find money to fix our HUD homes. I mean, where's HUD at? I haven't seen them out there. I actually challenged the second in charge of the EPA to come out one time. We were back in New York, and they haven't done nothing. And then I actually talked to Kearney down in Seattle. He hasn't done nothing. I mean, where's the money at? I mean, our homes are we're drowning. Our people are drowning. Our elders are drowning. The kids are drowning. I see this. I go to these homes and I see these young kids coughing and wheezing and sleeping in moldy beds. They got mold in their beds. And so, this is ongoing. So anyway, I'd like to thank you for for this moment. And I know this is going to be an ongoing battle for us. And I thank Gillian and her staff for being troopers and being in the paddle with us. And we're going to keep paddling until this work is done. But it's going to be a long road, and it's going to be a long paddle. Again,
Yeah.
thank you.
Thank you so much. Taiku. We could zoom. Could we zoom in on the art piece? So, Dean, at our organization, we instead of choosing plaques that might gather dust and never get hung on a wall, we choose to support Native artists, and we give awards that are of Native art. And this piece was done by Emma Noyes, who is the woman who designed our logo this year, which is on the image behind me, and it's very, very much story behind it. You can find the story of our logo on the TELS website, but I wanted to read this meaning of this piece, and it's called The Geography of Story. And because you're such a good storyteller and your story has a lot of impact on everybody around you, it spoke to me, and so this will be sent to you in the mail. This piece is about how the artist's initial understanding of place and the land was through story about where coyote and other beings gathered together and where they left food for the people. The imagery represents bits of stories filling a landscape, and the oral cartographer is her father in the picture. And so I hope you enjoy this piece. I hope you have a place for it on your wall or in your office that can remind you that there's a lot of people out here who recognize the work that you're doing and appreciate the work that you're doing, and that you are making such change in a lot of people's lives. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. I think that we're going to go ahead and transition to our closing. So Dean and Gillian, thanks for joining us. You're welcome to shut your cameras off at this time and stay
Thank you.
on for the closing. We have a few exciting things to announce about the gamification of our site. So Jennifer, if you want to kind of jump in and explain what that is and what's been going on behind the scenes, and then we can do some little recognition of everybody who's been so active.
Yes, thank you so much, Randy. It has been a back and forth contest between these top. They were tied about 30 minutes ago and about 10 minutes ago, and they keep adding things to beat each other. This is fantastic. They've really blown everyone out of the water at this point. They have, the number one is Nicole Rasmussen. So if you go to the leaderboard on the left-hand side of the platform, it shows you how you can get points and what your max points are for each one. But Nicole right now sits at 210,400 points. But you should go take a look at the community board. They have been going back and forth. They've been posting articles. They're posting photos. They're responding. There's over 52. I'll show you just a little bit so you can see a little bit of back end. There's been over 1,139 messages amongst 224 people on the platform. There's over 59 community posts and 41 photos uploaded. So you guys have been doing a ton of networking, and that is fantastic, and that shows in the number of points that we've got. So Nicole's at 210,400. Fawn Silas is 205,900. Patricia Young comes in at third at 78,400. Joy Britt at 30,400. I don't know if Rick, but Rick is at 18,400, and then Ignacio at 18,100. So these are your top 10 that you can see. Yep. Yeah, so the top 5 are going to receive a gift.
And I'll explain what those are. And Rick, I'm very sorry, but I'm going to disqualify you from this since you are on our staff. You'll be thanked in other ways, but I do want to honor the guests and participants who've done this. Can you pull that back up one more time, please? For our first place winner, we have Medicine Tracks. It's a memoir, and it was written by Donnell Barlow. Donnell presented today about food, her traditional foods, and food as medicine. For the second place winner, Fawn, I'm just going to go randomly through our gifts. We have Baby Speaks Salish. This book was written and illustrated by Emma Noyes, again, the artist who did our logo. Third place, Patricia Young. We have a children's book that I'm sure you can share with your own, if they're not that age, with grandchildren or other, children in your life. This is a book that was written by Donnell Barlow as well, called Bigfoot and Lightning Bug. And for Joy, we have another copy of Baby Speaks Salish. And for Ignacio, another copy of Bigfoot and Lightning Bug. Thank you so much for participating. This has been exciting to see all of the things that are going on behind the scenes, people posting meetups, people having conversations. We often feel like we're missing out, so much by not being in person. And while that is extremely valuable and irreplaceable, this has been quite an interesting replacement. So we appreciate the fact that first of all, we have this platform, and second of all, that you've participated. Thank you so much.
Oh, I just wanted to say thank you to everybody, and so for the people who are out in Zoom world, you may not realize that we have a full camera crew in this room. We have our tech guru and virtual organizers, Jennifer and Tom, with us. We also have multiple cultural presenters and organizers that have worked to put on this conference together. And I just want to highlight that it really takes a team, and working with the RTalk members in Region 10 is really a blessing, because the staff and the representatives all jump in and help with the lift, making this TELS, I wouldn't say easy, but it's made it a pleasure to organize and to host. So thank you for the whole team, and I'm going to hand this over to Aaron.
Yeah, I just wanted to say a few words before our chair takes over to close, and thank everybody for all the work that they've done for here. We have, excuse me, Kaufman and Associates, Jennifer Gilson, and then we have Hamilton Studio. They're in here with us right now, and it's not. I always think of. I mean, it'll be nice when we can have our TELS in person. And then be able to, but the platform has been awesome to be able to see all the stuff that goes into the planning for this. Our staff have been phenomenal to make things really easy for us as presenters, and I can't thank them enough. Anyways, and it's been a great 3 days, and I really hope people that have been participating have learned from others, and I sure have learned a lot. But with that, I'll turn it over to our chairman, Ray Paddock.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Just want to say thank you to all the hard work out there done by the RTalk administrative staff, Randy, Mita, Rick, Ashley, Rob, and the Kaufman Associates, and as well as to Hamilton Studios. I understand all the hard work that's gone on behind the scenes to make this a successful summit. And in that regards, in this successful summit, it takes the audience as well. And I've noticed all week that we've had great participation from around Region 10, and I can't say enough about that. That just goes to show that the agenda items were done very well, that we spoke to the concerns of Region 10 participants, be it tribally or NGOs, and those who are all participated. It's you guys that help make this a successful summit, but also not to take away from all the hard work done behind the scenes by our staff. I'd also like to thank Aaron Miles for chairing while I've been doing this virtually. He's been amazing. as the chair in person, and as well as to the RTalk group. I think it's been a successful week. I look forward to seeing everyone in person shortly, be it maybe in June, and for our next RTalk meeting and the upcoming TELS. I'm really looking forward to that after seeing what we've done here. Just to put out there again, RTalk has been slowly increasing our capacity and our resources, in an exciting time for us right now. And really proud of the people I'm working with, be it on the talk side as well as the administration side. And I'd also like to thank the EPA. The EPA are our partners in this too, so they've had a big hand in getting this going. Michelle Prezada, the Region 10 staff, Michael Ortiz, Andrew Baca, so on and so on and so on. There's been a lot of great people on the EPA side as well, and they are our partners in this. And thank you guys for that. With that, I don't know if there's anything else anyone would like to say back in
Ray?
Spokane. Yeah.
Ray, we got one more for the grand finale. We wanted to recognize Mita with this book, Medicine Tracks
Yay.
by Donnell Barlow. And so we wanted to have it on your part. So we want to give this to Mita. Appreciate
Hey,
all
Mita.
of her work. Yeah.
Finish cheese to Mita. Thank you for all your hard work, Mita. It's been great working with you. Yeah, I'm looking forward to next year, and hopefully you stay with us. Anything else, Aaron?
No, that's it. I think we're ready to head home.
I hear you. It's kind of been a long week probably for you guys in person, but one that I am still envious that I missed, or very sad that I missed, and I'm envious of you guys being there. But the next time we'll be coming around soon. And with that, again, thanks to the participants and to everyone else for making this conference happen. You guys done a great job. Finish cheese.
Thank you.
Safe travels to the RTalk and the administration staff traveling home.